Hello, welcome to Pre-Cal Homework Solutions 1.2.1 to 1.2.2. It's this worksheet right here. So we will go over these. So number one is true or false is 4/5 minus 2/3 greater than 1/15. Okay, so what we want to do is get a common denominator for all three of these terms. So we can put this in terms of 15ths and this in terms of 15ths so that all three of them will be 15ths. If we just multiply 4/5 by a clever version of 1, 3/3 will do it. And then 2/3 will multiply by a clever version of 1. That'd be 5/5. So now we would have 4 times 3 is 12/15 minus 2 times 5 is 10/15. And is that greater than 1/15? Well, now we can just subtract the top. 12 minus 10 would be 2. So is 2/15 greater than 1/15? Yes, it is. So that is true. All right, number 2, we're supposed to write in the blank 5/9 minus 1/7, and then we want to write greater than, less than, or equal in the blank. And on the right side, we have 1/8 minus 2/10. So I think that the easiest way to get a common denominator here, we're not really going to get, I'm not going to bother to try to find a common denominator between 9 and 7 and 8 and 10. I'm just going to get a common denominator on the left side and then a common denominator on the right side. And let's see if we can answer the question then. So 9 times 7 is 63. So if right away you don't see what the common denominator is, just multiply the two denominators. So to get this 5/9 in terms of 63 on the denominator, we could multiply by 7/7. And then by 9/9 for 1/7. And that's going to give us the common denominator. On this side, I'm just going to multiply 8 by 10. That's 80. So I could multiply the left by 10/10 and the right by 8/8. Now, there's another way to do this with cross multiplication that you might find faster, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So 7 times 5 is 35/63 minus 9/63, and then we have the blank, and then that's going to be 10/80 minus 16/80. So just multiplying the tops and the bottoms. So now on the left side, 35 minus 9 would be 26/63. And then 10 minus 16 would be -6/80. Well, this is negative, this is positive, so we know that the right answer would be greater than. Okay, not greater than or equal to, that's the blank, but it's just greater than. Now, another way to do this, I'll just show you, we could cross multiply. Let's just do the left side. This is just a little trick. So minus 1/7. What you can do is multiply the denominators together like that, and then bring the bottom right to the top left by multiplying that, and then the bottom left times the top right. So 9 times 7 is 63 on the bottom, so I multiplied the bottoms, and then I'm taking that 7 times 5, that'd be 35, and then 9 times 1, and then the minus doesn't go away, 35 minus 9/63, that's 26/63, and then you could do the same thing on this side. So instead of multiplying by the clever version of 1, you can multiply the denominator together and then do the cross multiplication, switching sides like I just did. You might find that a faster way to do it. All right. Let's take a look at number 3. So number 3 says x is less than y and y is less than z. Which of the following must be true? So let me put this into view. So A is x is greater than c, B is x is equal to z, C is z is less than or less than x, and D would be x is less than z. Well, if x is less than y, and then y is less than z, okay, then you know that x has to be less than z. Because x is less than y and y is less than z, so it just follows that x is less than z. So the answer is D. All right, number 4 says true or false, x is greater than 6 and 6 is greater than 4y, then x is greater than 4y. X is greater than 6. 6 is greater than 4y. Therefore, x has to also be greater than 4y since it's greater than 6. So that answer is true. Okay, number 5, true or false. X is less than or equal to 2, then negative x is less than or equal to negative 2. Well, let's leave this alone right now and change this from negative x to x. So if we divide both sides by negative 1, we would have x, and then if you divide by a negative, remember you have to flip the sign. Oops. Sorry about that. Divide by a negative, flip the sign. So the sign goes the other way now. And then negative 2 over negative 1 is 2. Okay, so divide by negative. Divide or multiply by negative. Then you must flip the sign. Easy thing to forget. Well, the first statement was x is less than or equal to 2, and the second statement is x is greater than or equal to 2. So they both can't be true. They're saying the opposite thing, right? So that's false. Okay, number 6, we want to express the inequality x less than negative 4 using interval notation. So let's say x, we have x is less than negative 4. I'm not going to do this on all of them, but let's go ahead and draw out a sign line. If x is less than negative 4, we got a line here. And let's put negative 4 on it. And we're going to infinity this way and negative infinity this way, right? So if x is less than negative 4, all right, you'd have that, it's if it's less, then it's all of this, right? To the left. All right, and it doesn't include the negative 4, so you'd have that open circle there. So to express this using interval notation, then it would be negative infinity to negative 4, and because it's not less than or equal to, we would put a parenthesis and not a bracket. All right, so if you're not sure, just draw out a sign line, and the one that's on the left, put on the left side of the parenthesis, or on the interval, the left side of the interval, and the one on the right goes on the right side of the interval. Okay, number 7, we want to express using interval notation. We have x is less than or equal to negative 1, and x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So let's do a line, number line on this. So we've got negative infinity, positive infinity. Negative 3 is the smaller number, so it goes on the left. The biggest number in this is negative 1. We have to, they are equal, right? We have equal, so we would have a closed circle. And then we have all of this in between. So our interval is going to be a bracket, since we have the equal sign. Negative 3 goes on the left, negative 1 goes on the right. So that's our answer. So if you're not sure which one, you always have the smaller number go on the left, the bigger number go on the right. Okay, so if you're not sure, do a line, and that might help you logically think your way through the interval. All right. So let's go to number 8. We want to express the inequality -1 less than or equal to x less than 1 using interval notation. Okay, these are a little bit easier to think about. It's less than or equal to, so we're going to have a bracket on the left with a -1, and then just less than 1, and then just remember the smaller number has to go on the left, the bigger number on the right, and we're going to use a parenthesis. Okay, number 9. Our inequality is -6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to -2. Okay, we've got 2 brackets on this one because we have that equal sign there. So the -6, -2, brackets on both ends, and boom. All right, number 10, we have a negative infinity. Now remember, infinity and negative infinity are unbracketable. So again, if you have negative infinity or infinity, it's always going to be a parenthesis. And less than or equal to -5 using interval notation. So smaller number, negative infinity, you can't bracket it, have to put a parenthesis. And then we have -5. And there you go. Number 11, we want to write the inequality. So we're given interval notation, so -8 to 0. Okay, and we want to write it as an inequality. So we're going to have an x, so we put that there. We know -8 is on the left, 0 is on the right, because that's the way it goes in the interval. And then we just have to get the less than signs correct. So with a bracket, it would be less than or equal to. And with an O parenthesis, you would not include the 0. So that's the inequality. All right, number 12, we have -1 to infinity. Okay, so we know we've got an x, so let's at least get that part right. The infinity is on the right side of the inequality because it's on the right side here, and then we have a -1 here. All right, so we just want to get, they're both parentheses, so we want to get these greater thans, less thans in the right spot, and we won't have any equal. It's just going to be less than on that one. Okay, so a better way to write this, so that is one way to do it, but let's see, there's a better way to do this. We can go a little simpler here. I would accept this, by the way, but what's a way to do this in a shorter way? So we could go, how about x is greater than -1? Would that also be true? Okay, so here it's going, if x is greater than -1, that's the exact same thing as this, right? And the exact same thing as this. And mathematicians would prefer you to write it the simpler way. So we're going to go with this as the best solution. All right, so if you were to draw that out on a number line, you would see it as that way. All right, number 13. So we have a negative 3.5 on the left and a 4 on the right. We got brackets on both. So that one's going to be pretty simple. And we know since there's brackets, we would have the less than or equal to, and negative 3.5, 4, and there you go. All right. And number 14, our last one, we have the inequality negative infinity to 5. So in this case, the biggest possible number is 5. So let's go ahead and draw this out on a number line. All right, so that might help you think about it. We know the biggest number it can possibly be is 5. And then negative infinity going to the left like that. So we would have a closed circle and then everything going that way to the left, right? So x, the most efficient way to write this is x is less than or equal to 5. Right? That's the most efficient way to write this. Instead of negative infinity is less than or equal to is less than x and less than or equal to 5, the more efficient way to write it is this way. So anytime you have an infinity or a negative infinity in your interval, you will have a solution that is just has one greater or less than, all right? So it's not going to end up, the best solution is not going to be like this. It's going to be one x and one number, one greater than or less than. So like number 12 and number 14. Okay? So that does it for this one. And I hope that helped, and I'll talk to you on the next one.